Exodus chapter 9. Then the Lord said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and wilt hold them still, behold, the hand of the Lord is upon the cattle which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain. And the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children of Israel. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died, but of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, Take of you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. And it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. And they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it upward to heaven. And it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken unto Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. As yet exalteth thou thyself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go? Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as hath not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. Send therefore now, and gather thy cattle, and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die. He that feared the word of the Lord among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. And he that regarded not the word of the Lord left his servants and his cattle in the field. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch forth thine hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast, and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt. And Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail, and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt, since it became a nation. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt all that was in the field, both man and beast, and the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field. And only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail. And Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron, and said unto them, I have sinned this time. The Lord is righteous, I and my people are wicked. Entreat the Lord, for it is enough, that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail, and I will let you go, and ye shall stay no longer. And Moses said unto him, As soon as I am gone out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto the Lord, and the thunder shall cease. Neither shall there be any more hail, that thou mayest know how that the earth is the Lord's. But as for thee and thy servants, I know that ye will not yet fear the Lord God. And the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was in the ear, and the flax was bold. But the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. And Moses went out of the city of Pharaoh, and spread abroad his hands unto the Lord, and the thunders and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased, he sinned yet more, and hardened his heart, he and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go, as the Lord had spoken by Moses. Well, here we see some more of the Pharaoh hardening his heart and not letting people go. And the first plague that's mentioned in this chapter is a murrain. And that's an old Anglo-Saxon word, and all it means is an extremely contagious cattle disease that was deadly. We don't know exactly what it was, but it spread quickly, and it was fatal. But there were none of the cattle of the children of Israel that died. So we severed that off and saw to it that that was how it was. The second thing that happened was the boils and the blains. Now, a boil is an infection usually of a hair follicle. It starts usually fairly deep in the skin and eventually breaks out, and there's pus and stuff like that on it. Blains means it gets inflamed and infected. It would be really bad. It's bad enough to have these things because they're painful enough as it is. Usually there's some nerve involvement and a lot of pain. But when they get red and inflamed and bigger, anything that touches them is extremely painful. And last but not least, and of course, Pharaoh could care less in this particular one, really. Once these things are sort of over with, as far as he's concerned, not a big problem. He doesn't really want them to go. He wants to keep the people. And the last one that's mentioned here is the hail. Now, hail is nothing new. In any place, the hotter it is, the more likely it is to have hail, because hail comes about from a storm where the air currents go up and take the moisture up really high, and it freezes and comes back down, and the hotter the area is, the bigger the hail can be. I've seen hailstones about 2 inches across, and those can do an awful lot of damage. But you notice that the Lord gave these people notice beforehand. It said cattle, but basically it meant any livestock that you have left alive out in the field, because the murrain got most of them. But any animals you have left alive in the field, get them under cover. Because when this thing comes, it's going to come. And it says this is hail with fire. Now, whether or not the hail burned with the fire, or whether or not there was fire with the hail, we don't know for sure. Nobody's ever seen anything like that I know. But Pharaoh, as soon as Moses said, Lord, stop it, would you please? Pharaoh hardened his heart and said, well, no, I don't think I want to let you people go. No matter what he says before, at the moment there is the trial. As soon as the trial is relieved and he has the opportunity to freely and honorably make the decision to let the people go, he says, no, I won't let you go. You wonder whether or not this guy's brain is working. How many times he has to have it? First time the problems come are inconveniences. There's no real loss. There's no suffering in the sense of, the frogs and the lice and the flies are inconvenient. But when your cattle start to die, when you start to get sick, when the hail comes and kills plants in the field and your cattle, any cattle that are out, people that are out, things are starting to get bad. Pharaoh doesn't seem to care at all.